Hello, everyone. And it's 9 p.m. American Eastern Time. We picked this time because we try to accommodate our presenter's location. Professor Chanjin Zheng, he is in Shanghai, China, and his time is 12 hours ahead of us. And this evening or this morning, we are so glad to have him to give us this talk. It's about how to use generative AI with the support of psychometrics to help can be harness the power, empower the students' writing skills in China. Let's welcome Professor Zheng's presentation.
Hi, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Chen for inviting me here. I feel greatly humbled to be to share my work here, and also I have to thank everyone to come my talk at such a time of the evening. So my name is Chanjin Zheng. I'm from the Department of Educational Psychology, Faculty of Education, and also I'm from the Shanghai Institute of Artificial Intelligence for Education. Both of them are housed in East China Normal University. So you can see this cute line here, right? It's the mascot for our university, and also is a logo for our project I'm going to talk about today. Basically, I'm quite interested in technology-enhanced assessment of and learning. So I'm going to talk about the project I have been working on 3 years. And I also give you 2 examples from our project to show the points I have tried to make in the title. So let's go to the projects now. You will see, actually this is called E-Line, Chinese Composition Tutoring System. It's like a web-based application, so the web page is quite clean and simple. You will see this actually is the major page. We have two pages here. On the left is a student's essay, and on the right we have the detailed feedback for the students. Actually, you see we have 3 tabs. It's like for the whole essay, for the sentences, and for the paragraphs. So I'm going to briefly talk about how and what we have done by now. 3 years ago, I introduced this idea to my team called design-based research, because for our psychometrics people might not be familiar with this idea, but it's quite popular in educational technology and learning sciences now. The difference here to what we have done before is before this, we are quite focused on theoretical objective, right? But if you are trying to develop something, you have to concern yourself about the design objectives and the practical implications. Actually, this idea came from psychology, but now it's quite popular in educational technology and learning sciences. So what we have done here is something new here is that we have to design something. This project will go for like several years. We have to go through engineering iterations. So this is a cycle we have gone through for many times. Like we identify the problem, we invite experts from various fields to do the theoretical analysis. So we identify the technical supports, then we do the engineering, then come back to the users for feedback. So to do such a work, we have interdisciplinary team. Actually, we have cross institutes because it's collaboration from our university and Microsoft research in Beijing. So we have like several smaller groups engaged in different tasks. Like people are engaged in the NLP basic research. We have expert teachers to do the to give us the subject advices. But the center actually is the product development group headed by me. So we have weekly meetings for product development. So we also go to the field, go to the schools. For example, here we go to the countryside to see our work can be used by the countryside kids. So actually we have several aspects to involve in our project. The first aspect we call the engineering side. That means we have 3 major versions now, covered all the essay prompts or questions from Chinese textbook in mainland China from grade 3 to grade 9, which means covered all the topics in compulsory education. This is the engineering part. And we also have the technology evolution here. Basically, we involve three technologies here. The first one might be a surprise to you guys. It's called OCR, which means that we have to recognize handwriting Chinese essays, because in China now people are still use paper and a pencil. So people do not want to their children go to online or go to the computer directly on a large scale. So we have to provide such a OCR technology to do this. But for the children's writing, it's kind of difficult. So we have done several things to improve this recognition rate. And also we have different large language models came into our project at a different time, especially after the disruptive appearance of ChatGPT. I will talk about that later. But for ChatGPT, it's really good news for us because it comes very handy with feedback automated generation. It does not contribute much to the scoring, but for the feedback comments generation, we really take a good advantage of the ChatGPT, which actually is like 1 or 2 years after our product started. And also we have to address the issues from various stakers here. For example, for the educational side, people always ask questions like, we do not only care about the words and sentences. Please give us scores for the higher order writing skills like logic, like analytical thinking. We will deal with that later, okay? So you will see in these 3 aspects, we have kind of introduced various different techniques or different variants in different time. But for us, we really try to identify as many applications as possible. For example, here we can have our students do self-learning through the system. And also we have worked very hard, like I think it's 2 years later, we finally invaded the classroom, which is a big milestone for us. So this is one system to do a lot of things. That is what we have done by now. And the next stage, we are going to Hong Kong. We are going to make a Hong Kong version of our system, which requires some adaptation. And also we will go to larger field experiment. By now we have about 100 100 schools. But at the next stage, we have like going to take the whole province in China. I think like 500 schools ahead. That's a quite rough estimation. That's what we have done now. So let me give you 2 examples to show how we that actually psychometrics procedures or like assessment techniques in general can help to help like grading essays or providing detailed feedback. The first one I call it ordinal regression with anchored samples. The big thing here actually I have highlighted in red called actually is a human in the loop essay scoring algorithm. Of course, is enabled by the psychometric procedure. Here is the whole picture of our scoring algorithm. We have this handwriting essay scanned into our system, processed by the BERT engine. Actually, it's robot engine, which give us all the different layers of text features, which can be used for the feedback generation and scoring. After this, we got the finalized feedback with comments and scores. So in this particular part, I'm talking about essay scoring. Scoring actually basically is kind of like a classification and ranking problem. We reframe this as an ordinal regression, which give us computational benefits, which I will not talk here. But how we do, we just define the categories of the essay. Then we have these test samples. First, we will select typical anchored samples for each category. Then we do the pairwise comparison for each test samples, then which will give the score of this test sample. Let me show you how it's done. It's more like this. We have a sample. Here is first is a training algorithm. Okay, so we have the training sample. It's like we have compared to the anchor set. Then we have to do this feature extraction first, which actually is achieved by this BERT engine I've talked about. After we get this feature, we will training is binary classifier. And after we done this, we will feed the test sample. That means create new essays, which will go through the same procedure and get a score. The key question here actually is how to obtain this high quality anchored sample, which is quite a routine in assessment because we are using this essay rubrics, right? So for rubrics, we have these rubrics design procedures, but today we are more focused on this rubric calibration. If you have any experience in high-stake assessment, you may go to like a training session. We call it rubric calibration. We get a group of teachers here to do some kind of initial study of the rubric. Then they will do some kind of a pilot grading, right? Then we'll try to do this consistent analysis of grading. Then we will select some kind of typical samples for different grades. Then this group of people will do this human calibration and discussions. They are supposed to have got the feeling what kind of essay can go to like a grade A, B, or C at the end of the training session. If this is what I have done in the high stakes training session scenario typically, if there's one complication here, the consistency analysis of grading. If there's more sources of errors, that means you have to do some kind of a statistical control, which actually also quite routine in psychometrics. We call it generalizability theory, right? We can decompose the sources of error in grading from different like raters, like your prompts, like your participant, or here means students. So in a high stake, even in a high stake scenario, you have to control this. But in our project, it's like learning oriented. It will go to a long way. Actually, at the very beginning, we did not push this psychometrics agenda because during the meeting, people agree that kind of like engineering, like a human calibration is good enough. But after 1 year and 2, things become clear. That because later our teachers or maybe our clients raise some kind of new requests. They say, we are not satisfied only scores. Can you give us higher order skills? Higher order skills, which is like creativity. But you know that if you were done this with large language model, generally speaking, they are not accurate. So you have to do this kind of like a human calibration, a training session again. So we have to redo this. Even for the scores, people have much more demanding requests because we are in learning, like a learning environment. Because they say, can you give us stability evidence like across the prompts? Because different styles. Because teachers are so focused on, so concerned about what is the right thing for narrative essays, what is right for the argumentative essays. So can you give us the evidence for the scoring stability over different grades? Because we are involved from grade 3 to grade 9, which concerns the headmasters or the expert teachers. So because at the very beginning, we did not do such kind of data gathering, we cannot apply this generalizability analysis. So we have to read down everything now. So it's kind of like we call it iteration, right? Like 1 year ago, you think that all the groups think you are not necessary to do this, even me, because I, as a group head, as a group leader, although I'm a psychometrician, I did not push this psychometrics analysis agenda because I think it's a waste of resources. But this thing came back again. So for a learning system, it's very important to obtain high quality anchor samples here. So since we do not have the data for our Chinese essay, we done this pilot study on English essay first, which the result is quite promising, which encourage us to take a bold move into this direction. What's the strength of this algorithm? What's the good thing about keep the humans in the loop? For a learning system to be used for a lot of teachers and students in daily life, feedback, interpretability, and transparency of the algorithm is very important to make them feel safe and comforting. And also, they have this real effect of human calibration to eliminate this scoring bias. Because if you get this, if you leave this job solely to large language model, you might have scoring bias. But in our algorithm, we can do this calibration in daily life. The most important thing actually is, or maybe more interesting in our project is that keeping schools and teachers and students engaged by this such a setup. For example, we are told that children to challenge the bot, which means that they can challenge the machine generate the scores and feedback. Of course, it's only for learning activity and does not have any real effect on our algorithm in the system. But for teachers, it's a real thing. We have these features in our system to ask teachers to do the review or revise our comments and scores. And also, we ask the schools to organize kind of a teacher professional development program to do such kind of a review. We invite expert teachers and to tutor those novice teachers, which will help them to grow. But also we can gather the information, the data from expert teachers to do the correction to our algorithm in the system, which make our system like evolve during the long time. So that's the part I told you that if you can keep the human in the loop, you really can improve your algorithm. But for our project, for our algorithm here, the human element here actually is familiar. Assessment technique is rubric calibration. If you have enough expert teachers, if he is familiar with this kind of thing, it's like old tricks. Okay, it's very old. It's very common. It's very common from our daily practice. So such kind of a job assigned to them, they will feel familiar. They will not like feel panic that something new. Because some teachers come to me and say, okay, I do not know anything about large language model. Can I contribute this for this? But such algorithm design, such a human in loop design can help them like accommodate to this kind of a job very easily. So my second algorithm actually is about the prompt engineering, and also can be done by some kind of psychometric tools or tricks. We propose a kind a kind of like a new framework called Learning Copilot. Actually, this name is from Microsoft Research Asia here, because you know that Microsoft love to do the Copilot everything, right? Learning Copilot enabled by Accurate Assessment and ChatGPT. I'm happy to see that actually is a combination of Accurate Assessment and ChatGPT, right? So how this problem come up in our project? First, let's see what is large language model first. I will not go to the technical side, but I will rather talk about from the learning side. People will be scared by large language model because they think they are smart, but actually large language model is general intelligence engineered by cramming or spoon-feeding learning. If we are from education, we know that like cramming and spoon-feeding learning is low efficient, right? It's not good. So, but the good thing about the machine is that they can take in all the knowledge, all the books in the world. So it's like a Superman raised by a very low efficient way of learning. So it's very important for you to raise the right questions in the right way, which like elicit the potential of the large language model. So they got this term for such kind of technique called prompt engineering. So in before we go into our project, I'd like to talk about what is generative large language model first. This is a generative large language model, which will like give you the next word based on all the information she got, just like this. But it is based on kind of a probability calculation. It will not give you the exact words you expected. So because in natural language, we have this kind of ambiguity, right? Oh, actually, it's like he will not give you the exact thing. So we have this problem of hallucination problem of large language model, especially after the appearance of ChatGPT, right? But it's quite normal. It's partially from this called ambiguity of large language of natural language, right? Just it should here like a perception ambiguity. So if you are in linguistics, you must familiar a theory called garden path theory, which means that when people understand the language or try to produce the language, you are more like in the garden, and at the crossroads you have several paths to take. You just may have several paths to take, but you take one, maybe that is less taken by some kind of a probability calculation, which might end up in the wrong place. So that's hallucination problem of large language model. So how to avoid this? Prompt engineering, ask good questions. So what we done actually here is propose a new framework to combine the traditional wisdom from assessment and our ChatGPT. So here is the traditional wisdom from assessment. Generally, actually is particularly in the intelligent tutoring system, because we have assessment in general. We can we get the zone of proximal development, right, which can help to make the individual recommendation for learning. But after ChatGPT, we have this very easily can be easily used the ChatGPT way of tutoring. People just ask questions, then they are expected like a personalized tutoring. But because of the hallucination problem, sometimes it will not give you something you desired. Even at the time it will give you the wrong answer, right? That is very dangerous. Actually, several months ago in China, some tech companies textbook or like a exercise book, they produce something incorrect and cause the jumping of the stock price, even like a very big danger here. That's very dangerous. So how can we do this? Actually, we have to do this, combine them together. At least we can use the information from the assessment expert system to help this content generation, right? But we proposed more. We believe that at this part, we have something, because in psychometrics, before we get the final assessment tools, we have more devices to help our develop scientific vigorous tools. For example, we have rubrics, we have so-called assessment framework, right? If you view all these devices in the computer science or in the artificial intelligence point of view, they are defined by experts. Actually, they carry the domain knowledge. So if you can have this assessment framework, they can tell you what should be assessed in this particular field, like essay. So we call it curriculum alignment. Basically, you have this alignment, which can eliminate this hallucination. So how can we do this? Because for assessment framework, let me give you, we also can further enhance this prompt by the individual student's results. For example, for this particular student's, his results for this essay is just like this, something like this. But how can we do this prompt? Let me give you assessment framework, an example of assessment framework. Here is called something called a Common European Framework of Reference for Language. If you are in language assessment, you are quite familiar. You may heard about this. And at the bottom level of this framework, they call it the descriptors. But for our psychology assessment, we may call it like indicators. If you want to assess a language, like speaking, writing, something like that, or all of it, you can decompose all this big dimension into small aspects, more refined dimensions. We call it descriptors. For this framework, we have 1,800 descriptors. If you done it mechanically, you can ask like about 2,000 questions to the ChatGPT. It gives you all the assessment of each aspect for this particular question. But how can we get this? If you have to take a psychological assessment class, yeah, that's quite a routine, right? That's quite a routine. So I just encourage people, like you may have to view what you have learned from a psychometric assessment class, and in this age of AI. If you have not taken yet, I just encourage you to take one, but with this particular new idea in mind, it might be helpful to do the prompt engineering. But I will not go to the details because this is from the psychometric measurement introductory course. For our essay, we have something more detailed for this, we call assessment framework, right? For different styles. So if we done this mechanically, we have like ask like 40 questions for each essay. Then we get the results. We have some refinement. We ask teachers what they care most. We done like a kind of survey for many teachers, and they give us a lot of like items. We like do kind of sorting and clean up. We got 30 questions they are concerned the most, and we use this. We call it text. We use this as a material for the prompt questions. We done this way. What's the benefits? It's a novel application of old tricks. Just like I said, if you take any introductory course for educational measurement, you know this. You know how to development of a construct, and you just go to the bottom level, find the indicators. So it's an easy way to keep the expert engaged. Actually, they are proven and they are mature. And also it's scientific, because by prompt engineering in this way, it's systematic. For example, after we get these 30 questions from teachers, we double check against our framework. We make sure that we have checked every important aspect of an essay. It's controllable and it's transparent, right? Because everything is opened up. It's like a tree-like structure. You can go back and forth check what kind of question we have asked. People may, if you done this in a like a casual way, you may ask vague questions, which will give you a very bad answers from ChatGPT. But if you done this, you have done this like alignment. You just input any expert domain knowledge of an essay into ChatGPT, and he will carefully ask you answer your each specific questions. So that's a good thing. Just like I said, it's old trick. It's nothing new here. I mean, for the assessment part. If you done this, actually, you will eliminate most of the hallucination problems. And also, if you are enhanced by that individual student's assessment results, you can really get almost all of them. So that's what we done. If you like try to apply our method into ChatGPT directly, you have to ask to compose such a detailed question like use these tags. This is what we done for demonstration in ChatGPT. But for our clients, they do not like ask these 30 questions in ChatGPT, right? We have offer like end-to-end solutions, which is like a demonstrated here. Oh, I have to play. Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to stop here. Let me. I'm sorry. Yeah. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry, it's Chinese, but it's basically is a questions based on the student's response we produced by our algorithm there. It's not fancy, but everything is make sure that it's like a scientifically or in terms of like a pedagogical correct. Yeah, it's very simple. It's like an experimental version for our like for the future project for this tutoring system. But also we have like generated comments in the same way in these tabs. So this is what we have done for our essay. So let me summarize this. Actually, what we have done is like we try to combine what we have learned in assessment and plug it into the large language model. No matter it is for the scoring algorithm or for the feedback generation. So actually, we have like several different directions for our actually ongoing studies involving theory and methodology and empirical studies. For the theory part, actually, I'm not a theory person, but after 3 years, I have to think about maybe and I come up a kind of like a new idea of what is new perspective for assessment in AI age. Actually, it's from Herbert Simon, who is the founding father of the cognitive psychology and also a Nobel laureate for economics, and also is a very important person in artificial intelligence because he defines psychology as the science of artificial. It's interface of mind and the environment, and everything we have done feed into this frame, theory. So we believe that actually psychometrics is like a sub tools. It's also the science of the artificial. It's a designed complex system with hierarchical structures. If you take a part of them, it can be like an interface of the large language model and domain knowledge and mind. Maybe here mind means students and teachers. So what we have done is plug the psychometrics into a bigger system. So we also trying to come up kind of a new methodology for development assessment tools in AI age. The first one is called combination of DBI and ECD. Just now I talked about DBI, right? But ECD called evidence-based, evidence-centered design. It's come from psychometrics. It's more focused on the validity issues. But in a long time, but for item tool, for tools developed in a long time for learning, you must have covered other aspects first before you go into this validity issue. So we believe that combination of both will do a lot of good. The second paradigm, we call it the transferable engineering approach. You see here, we have different levels of elements involved developing AI tools, like fundamental core tech. We have key tech for education. We have do this prototype of select scenario, the POC. Then we have this applications. When we're doing this, we try to transfer everything between different projects. For example, we start from this E-line system, right? But actually, let me tell you a little secret. This system actually is transfer from English essay first. Of course, we don't have a lot of adaptation here. Data, even some new function, even the algorithm. We have done the algorithm. Actually, the algorithm we proposed here is new. After we done this, we also apply this new idea, this whole thing I've talked about, to other two projects. This one is for HSK, for learning Chinese as a second language. And also we apply this for English learning. So there's a lot of collaboration between me and this Microsoft team. We try to transfer everything, the core technique. We select something and do the transformation into different projects here. I believe that actually save us a lot of money and time. It's very important. Okay, so the final message here. Let me ask not what AI can do for education, and ask what you can do for AI in education. Actually, that's what I'm doing in the past 3 years. Because many people may think that, okay, we have AI. So what AI can do for education is a major problem for everyone, even for people in education. But my experience is that you just ask the second question, maybe give you a better answer for the first question. Okay, that's my talk. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think we learn a lot from Professor Chanjin Zheng's presentation. Okay, I think I totally agree with him. It's AI is not a black box. We need to get teacher involved, get school involved. And as he mentioned, they have 500 schools, so many students, so many teachers, and also with psychometricians get involved. I think that's the future direction of AI. And now we can take a few questions if anyone.
Yeah, I see one person is Tang.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I mistouched the button.
Okay.
It's a great lecture. Thank you very much.
So any comments or questions? Because I go through this very quickly. I know that it's like a 14 minutes here, and I have a lot of slides here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, very interesting. I think we are behind. People here just started talking about Copilot. Now, you guys already developed so many things, get so many people involved, and published people already. Definitely, okay, set a good example for us.
Yeah, actually, it's a chemistry between psychometrics education and Copilot, because my collaboration team is from Microsoft. We have this Copilot idea there, but what we have done is like applied this in practice to have real impact in Chinese education.
Yeah, this is very important. the more people who apply this system, the more problem will be generated. Then you guys can solve this problem one by one, then make the system smarter and smarter.
Yes. Yes. To be honest, this is quite a roller coaster experience for me, because 3 years ago, I have not imagined things can go into this direction or like develop like this. It's actually far beyond my imagination, although this is made by me.
Okay. We have recorded this and we will post this as in our YouTube channel. And if you are interested to ask questions, then, just...
Actually, we have questions. I think it's Mr. Lu.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Oh, thank you for this wonderful lecture. I have a question, which is, can you share some of the applications of this technique? Are we using it for the school teachers right now, or like for
Are you in
testing?
Chinese or in the United States? Or maybe you just like contact me. I will send you links.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can contact me through email. I can send you the links for your personal experience. Try to try on our system. Okay.
Okay.